Hello everyone. So we're 1.3 measuring segments. So welcome to the lesson. So start out with the ruler postulate. So basically ruler postulate says that if you have a line, you can assign a real number with any point or with each point on that line, right? So each point can be associated with a real number. And so what that allows you to do is find the distance between any 2 points on the line. Okay, so you can find the length from point A to point B, for example, right? And the way that we measure the length is to find the absolute value of the difference of those 2 points, those 2 real numbers that are assigned to those points. Okay, so we can also call this AB. Notice how if I say find AB, notice how there's no line above AB, right? So it's not, there's no value there. So if I just say find AB, then that means find the length of the segment AB, okay? Or you can actually say length AB this way, okay? Or length of segment AB, I should say. All right. So just to give you an example and just kind of put a visual with this. So if I ask for xz, or the length of segment xz, it's the distance from point x, or distance between point x and point z, right? And so what we can do is we can find the value or the real number that's associated with x and z respectively, right? So 2 and 5, and then we can just find the difference of those. We want the absolute value difference, right? So no matter how we subtract 2 minus 5 or 5 minus 2, we're going to get 3 either way because we're doing the absolute value, okay? So normally what I do is just bigger number minus smaller number, and then I don't have to worry about the absolute value, but just remember that your length is always going to be a positive value, okay? So you should never have a negative if I ask you to find the length of a segment, or if I ask you to find AB or XZ, okay? All right, so here, get out your note card so you can write down this postulate. So we have the segment addition postulate. Okay, so the segment addition postulate says that if you have 3 collinear points, in this case A, B, and C, and if B is between A and B, that means that the length AB plus the length BC has to equal the length AC, right? So in other words, if I have this segment and this segment, right, if I add them together, I get the total, right? So it sounds pretty self-explanatory, but or maybe hopefully intuitive, but if it's not, just remember that, or like the reason that might be so obvious is sometimes if you could have 3 points that are not collinear, right? Like if you had A, B, and C here, then AB plus BC doesn't necessarily equal AC, right? In fact, those wouldn't be equal in the case that you have 3 non-collinear points, okay? So the key here is that those points are collinear and that B is between A and C. In that case, AB plus BC will always equal AC, okay? So it doesn't work for non-collinear situations. All right, so here's an example of a question that you might see that involves the segment addition postulate. So here we have R is between S and T, right? So right away when they say R is between S and T, then we know that if those are, if they are collinear, which that kind of implies that they're collinear in the first place, but we can see that, they tell us, or we can see the visual here that we have ST, and at R is on the line ST. So anyway, so if we see R is between S and T, we know that RS plus ST, or excuse me, RS plus RT, I should say, must equal ST, right? And I could have made that SR, right? Same thing, SR, RS are the same lengths. Okay, so RS plus RT equals ST. So we have kind of a format to our, or we have an equation that we can utilize to input those values that are given. So RT is X, SR is X plus 4, and ST is 14, right? So we can say that, okay, well, RT, which is X, right? So I'm plugging in X here. SR, which is X plus 4, so I'm plugging that in here. So X plus 4 plus X has to equal ST, which is 14. Right, and now we have a pretty simple equation to solve. So we combine like terms. I'm also going to subtract 4 from both sides. And so I get 2x equals 10 divided by 2. And so we get x equals 5. Okay, now make sure you answer the question, right? So here it's asking find the value of x. So nice, we did that. But it's also asking us to find, it says then find RT and SR, right? So RT is X, right? So RT is going to equal 5. SR is equal to X plus 4, right? So it's going to be 5 plus 4, which is 9. Okay, just to show you the mental math here. Okay, so those are our answers, right? X equals 5, RT equals 5, and SR equals 9. So let me know if you have any questions, but remember the segment addition postulate, if you have 3 collinear points, A, B, C, then AB plus BC must equal AC, right? If B is between A and C.